everybody, and welcome to another video. Today, we're going to be doing the video that I said that I wanted to do, when was it? Tuesday, I think it was, I did the other video. Yeah, today we're going to be doing the first look at the what's it called? The Glossop line. We are currently sitting here at Manchester Piccadilly in our 323. So, pretty much, that's what we're going to do. Before we get started, though, I just want to mention how lovely this this Manchester Piccadilly model actually is. I've never felt we've had a competent model of Manchester Piccadilly. And don't get me wrong, I've not actually seen what Just Trains did in Train Sim Classic. But as far as DTG is concerned, oh hello, freight train. Oh nice, Freightliner. Yeah. So yeah, as far as DTG's models are concerned, I've never felt we've ever had a particularly competent model of Manchester Piccadilly. And this one looks awesome. Let's be honest. It looks amazing. Why can't I go through here? There we go. They've even gone and modelled the bit over here. Some of it's a bit bright. Could have done with a little bit of texture baking possibly. Just to sort of fill it all in. But to be honest, overall, looks really good. I love the fact that they said they're going to do usable moving escalators. And I can't say I've ever actually seen them so far. I think I've seen them in one route. I can't even remember what route that was now. The lifts, likewise. I couldn't find it in the Glasgow route. Anyway, let's get back to our train. Let's not spoil the sounds, even though you know exactly what the sounds are going to be like. Let's pull up the HUD, because we should probably be going and all of that jazz. Make sure the lights are on. So it's a bit laggy. It's not normally this laggy. Maybe it's because I'm recording, but who knows. AWS, Vigilance, cool. Yeah, no. So 323. I'm not going to spend too long on this. What's the Cross City route? It's a lovely model. Of course, it's a lovely model. It's Train Sim World. There's always a lovely model in Train Sim World. Everything's there that needs to be. I think it is a more or less direct import of the old version from oh, excuse me. From the Cross City line, the Birmingham Cross City. I think it is the exact same version. There are a couple of minor differences. Obviously, the obvious one is the livery. The livery is clearly supposed to be Northern, and it is Northern. Apparently there's some slight modifications in the interior that should have been done and haven't been. The cab's slightly different. There's a, are you sure of your calling pattern up there, and there's no clock over there, which I think is really cool, the fact that they've got a little clock in it. Let's get these doors closed, shall we? Get these doors closed. Put it into forward. And let's go. And out into the light. Not that it's dark in there exactly, but you know, there's a little bit lighter out here. Nevertheless. Oh, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. I wanted to like maybe stand over here or something and watch it go. Now, of course, Manchester Piccadilly, it's quite quiet. There being no AI that we've really got to have in here. You've got 323s popping in and out. You've got 158s. You've obviously got the freight trains, which we just saw. And for whatever reason, you've got the odd HST flying about. The East Midlands one. I've got absolutely zero clue why they're in there. Maybe they run this way. I don't know. As far as I'm aware, however, no. A HST, an East Midlands HST would not run out here. We'd have no reason to. That's interesting. One random hangar. I mean, I've got no doubt that's there in real life. Just interesting that it's there. Oh, okay, we can speed up now. Cool. Here's our instrument lights. They look off. Are they off? I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it too much. We shouldn't need them. I don't even think there's any tunnels on this route, is there? There might be one. There might be one, but I don't remember any tunnels. I've driven it a couple of times. I've driven the 323 a couple of times. Yeah, I actually really like the route, to be honest. Look at it. It actually looks quite nice. The line side detail is quite well populated, to be honest. I think it's certainly on par with the Cross City. Definitely. Got Woodhead specific gantries, you old DC ones. It's a shame they don't have the hangers on them, admittedly. But I assume that's a feature in real life. I assume they've lost the old Woodhead hangers on them in real life as well. So I'm not going to sort of have them over that, because I assume that's a real world feature. Got bits of track with wires, bits of track without wires. We're just passing the big depot now. So yeah, I think it's Ashbury's depot, isn't it? Something like that. Of course, because it's a 323, you don't really need to think too much about the driving. I mean, you do, obviously, but, you know, this thing stops on a dime anyway, so... Bit of deceleration going. See, look, I'm already at 30 mile an hour, and I'm not even in the station. And any other train, I'd probably be starting to think, okay, I'm a bit fast now. It's a really short platform as well, and I'm just gonna casually scroll in, you know, like yo, Wagwan Ashbury's. So look, 2 blooming line here. Right, okay, cool. Of course, I've only actually touched notch 1 braking for this, so probably a bit too much fanning the braking. Sometimes you've got to sort of re-remind yourself how the physics handle. Also, the passenger stops are ridiculously short. On a different note, it's nice that we've got competent levels of passengers. Although, admittedly, I'm kind of wondering if they're a bit too competent. Especially for a sort of 10:30 service. Are there too many passengers on this train? I would be inclined to... you could go round me, you know. Or just push me out of the way, yeah, either or. So yeah, we got the same sounds as the original Birmingham Cross City 323, but what I can't get my head around is the fact that the mappings are now different. You haven't got the initial hum as you take power anymore. It's odd, because the Cross City one does what it should, and it sort of goes, whereas this one just, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe the Manchester ones are different. I would doubt it, though. I would say that DTG have just done a fluff up with the mapping of the sounds. I've got no idea how they did it, considering they probably ported the exact same sound mapping and same model from the Birmingham. Well, I say Birmingham, same model. They'd have obviously made the relevant changes to said model, but the sound mapping certainly I would expect to have been ported directly from Birmingham Cross City. So how they managed to mess that up, I've got absolutely no idea. Anyway, we're still going along nicely. Route's still looking lovely. So look, we've got continuing posts over bits of track that aren't there. Muddy trails where obviously got maintenance vehicles driving up and down, like vans and
diggers and all that kind of thing. It's a good way of accessing the line, to be fair. It's a shame that the track's gone, of course, but at least it gives you really good access as far as maintenance is concerned. Now, obviously, this is part of the old Woodhead line, the old 750 volt DC? Was it 110 volt DC? I can't remember now. But yeah, one of the only places, certainly in the UK, I don't know about the world, but one of the only places to actually use DC overhead lines. DC is normally exclusively for conductor rails, so third rail and fourth rail. You're all a bit close to the edge, mate. Stand me on the yellow line, please. Oh, there is no yellow line. There's tactile paving, but there's no yellow line, so what can you do? But yeah, so yeah, the other place, of course, that did use DC, if you weren't aware, is in fact the Shenfield Metro. When that was electrified out of Liverpool Street to Shenfield, that originally was DC, and they used 503s. Were they 503s, or were they? I'm thinking of the Liverpool ones. They were a bit like the 506s that ran up here, anyway. They looked a bit like them. I think there may have been 503, but like I say, it could have been the Liverpool ones. There might have been 509 or something. But yeah, so there was actually two places in the UK. Like I said, I don't know about the world, but certainly in the UK, there was actually two places that used DC. Honestly, I'd have loved to have seen the 68 still going. I can't imagine they would have, to be perfectly honest with you. They would have been getting it on a bit by now. They'd have been, well, BR, so that would be 55 or earlier, I imagine, that they were introduced. I can't remember exactly when it was. But that would have made, what, 70, 80 years old now? So it would almost certainly have been withdrawn now. But if the Woodhead hadn't have closed, it certainly would have bought them more years. Of course, the Woodhead ultimately would have also been converted to AC current. There would have been no sense, once they bought a new fleet, to keep it DC. Unless it was cheaper, obviously, to buy a DC fleet exclusively for the route than have an AC fleet. But, then change all the wires to make it AC. But, it definitely would have extended the life had the Woodhead route not have been closed down. So, apart from Penistone Station still existing, there's a section of track up at Penistone that's literally like 500 yards probably of main line on the old alignment of the Woodhead. But other than that, the only thing in the Woodhead that exists now is this, and then all the loop up to Glossop and Hatfield. Oh, Hadfield. That's it. Nothing left. So it's nice that the line is still there. What is would have been an excellent route to have kept, but hey, there was no foresight back then. Part of the beaching axe. And I'm not necessarily going to start commenting on, oh, the beaching axe was terrible and everything was wrong about it. I'm not going to say all of that, because I'm not educated on the thing. And I've got no doubt there probably were some railways that would have wouldn't have been missed too much, little branch lines and stuff, had they been closed. But the Woodhead is almost certainly a route that could have been used now, even if it was just freight avoidance, because practically that's all it was back in the day. They had a dedicated fleet of about 5 or 6 Class 77s. There weren't many 77s at all, and they were for passenger runs. And then the 76s only ever did the freight very, very occasionally. Sorry, the passenger very, very occasionally. The freight was allocated to the steam and the 76s, and then the 77s did the passengers. Well, so I suppose the steam pulled the freight, pulled the passenger as well. Sorry. So, but yeah, you can see where there was obviously more tracks. Where this would have once been 4 tracks. At some point. The thing that's always got me about disused lines is the fact that the alignment they pick up is so inconsistent. Like, you'd think you'd just rip out 2 lines and leave it as is. But no, they've actually rebuilt, relayed the track because it swings across from one side of the track bed to the other side of the track bed. Seems to happen haphazardly. Whatever's more convenient, sort of thing. And it's like, what? Just leave one track down. And then when it comes to maintenance and replacing track work, just replace that bit of track. Because I've got no doubt that none of this track here is original to what the 76s would have run. I reckon it's all brand new. Well, I say brand new. Not brand new, but, you know, as in new since the period. We are actually gaining time in this train, to be fair. We are definitely gaining a little bit of time on the timetable. Okay, one way of doing it. I like the platform lighting as well. Quite interesting, especially that they've actually done it in the game. So, like with the Cross City, you have a 3-2-3-2 run. Unlike with the Cross City, quite a lot of these stations, not all of them, but quite a lot of these stations are far apart. Whereas the Cross City, it's obviously, from the majority of stations, it's stop-start. As soon as you've departed one station, you're only just getting up to speed when you're slowing down for the next station, sort of thing. But for this, you can actually get a bit of speed up, and it's quite exciting to have a bit of speed in this train. It's quite fun to fly along the open sections. So the stations are a little bit more dense now, but the stations were probably just as dense back there. But there's a lot we don't stop at. So I don't know if they're another service or if they're maybe just rush hour, but so far I've not found a service that actually stops at all of them. So, as far as services are concerned, there's not an insane amount of services, I don't think, but there are certainly enough to keep you busy. You know, you've got your Glossop Hatfields, you've got a couple of empty stock moves, one including the class 158. You can do an empty stock move on that, and you've got plenty of AI movement. You'll almost always see a freight train, or a 158, or maybe a 323 moving around Manchester Piccadilly. Almost always see something, and it's great. Another close distance between two stations. Big road, big motorway. Don't know what it is, of course, but you know. That must be a disused bridge. All the bushes on that. This is quite a cool station. I love the little retaining wall just before it. This bit. Just something about it is like, yay, look at that. And there's no line. There's no tactile paving. There's nothing. It's literally just, stand where you want it. It's fine. Not, I'm actually recommending that, of course. You still got to stand a fair distance, a safe distance, away from the train passing, of course. But, you know, the station just doesn't care. It, like, gives a suggestion of where you should stand, and then just like, nah, you're right. Admittedly, that platform does look very thin, though.
Well, at least we're consistently 2 minutes late. I thought we were gaining a bit of time, but obviously not. Hattersley. Another fairly close station. 2 miles until the 40 limit. And the 40 limit is over the viaduct, I believe. Well, over one of the viaducts. Over the first one, I believe. Really off-putting because you think you've got to stop at this as well. You see the station's close on the HUD, and then you see this station, but it's actually disused. So there would have been a track either side of that platform, so it would have been 2 island platforms once upon a time. Looking at how wide these gantries are, this might also be coming up to where the yard was once upon a time. I think this might be where the yard was, possibly. We're looking a bit steep on the embankment though, so I think I left the braking a bit too late, but it's fine. We've got the braking, forced to do it. So again, we're in the middle of the alignment just then for the platform, and now we're off to one side. So this station probably would have once had 2 platforms, so they've just used 1 platform. Whereas the last station, rather than using 1, they've sent it through the middle so that they could, if they reopened it, use both. Super elevation as well. I think the only thing that would make Transcend World routes better, well, I say the only thing, is obviously a lot of things. As far as like line side scenery is concerned, though, the best thing they could do for the game is start adding trunking. Start adding line side trunking. It looks bare without the trunking sometimes. And I just reckon if they added, even if it was literally just a line of trunking, didn't connect to anything or anything, it just existed, it would make the whole lot overall look a little bit better, a little bit more complete. This must be where, yeah, this is definitely where the yard was. You can see how wide that bridge is. There was a bridge over the said yard as well, so yeah, this was quite a big yard, I believe. It was near the viaducts, as far as I'm aware. Again, couldn't tell you what the name is or anything. Just know it from Transcend Classic. Driven the route a few times. Always been fascinated by the Woodhead line. I actually really love the look of the 76s. I think they were a lovely looking loco. Very different from anything else of the period. More boxy, and also the multiple working jumpers on the fronts. I preferred the ones with the jumpers than without, funnily enough, and a lot of people would probably say the other way around, I would assume, for a cleaner front. But I actually much preferred the ones with the jumpers. They looked quite nice, in my opinion. Broad bottom. Apparently this station sign's wrong as well. It should be in capitals, that text, and it is not, as you can see. Down here, shall we? Oh wow, double announcement for the win. Oh, fair enough. Bit of a stutter between some of the the gear shifting sounds there. Apparently this fault is also in the wrong place. Apparently it should only be over the bridge. And that's coming from a driver who put a statement out on Facebook. He said, yeah, I love the route, but there are a couple of minor bits, and that being one of them, so that's fair enough. Apparently it's only over that bridge, the 40 limit. It's gone again now. Ding Ting. I think it was that one he was referring to at least. Hopefully we see a train go past us in a minute as well. So if we don't see a train go past us, it means we're going to have to wait at the signal. It becomes a single track. Oh, there it is. Nice. Cool. We don't have to wait. Limit coming up. Fixed distance. I'm sure that AWS ramp was way too far away from the sign anyway. There was no advance warning either, I don't think so. There you go. Double pillars. They've obviously had to put a new deck on and they've had to support it with more pillars or something. So yes, obviously this this bit was once a complete loop, and there was in this platform to our left, I believe, for a long time one of the tracks was closed. I don't know if it ever reopened actually. The one that's been ripped up though, it was actually closed because a brake of wagons derailed in there when it was going round. I think it was there. It might have been just after the station, but a rake of wagons derailed, and they just left it because they were sort of winding down the Woodhead anyway. So they just left the wagon derailed on the line, shut the line down, shut the track down even. I'm sure I've seen pictures of it in the platform though. That's the marker. Somewhere around here-ish, I think. Like I say, if it wasn't, I think there was a derailment around up here as well. So there might have been two. Sure there was one there and they left a wagon up here somewhere. But I'm sure there was one in the platform as well. Sure there was. Anything in the signal box? Nah, nothing in the signal box. That'd have been nice. Proper northern. You can tell you're in the north when you see these kind of stations. Oh, look at that! Oh! Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that one before. Don't quite know about the perfectly polished top of the building, but other than that, that's cool. I noticed the building was obviously there, but I never noticed the fact that it was actually missing a roof and the hoarding on not the hoarding, the canopy support on the front, if whatever you want to call it, was actually falling down. That's amazing. Lovely little detail there. We're actually going downhill, so. Anyway, now we're off the Woodhead technically, and this was just a little branch to Glossop. I assume at one point it must have gone further this way. It must have done. But for whatever reason they kept it. On a different note, I'm 90% certain there's an old Indian shed this side of the track. It could be this side. It could be over there. But I think it's over this side of the track. Complete with like inspection pits and stuff. There it is. It is actually on here. I couldn't find it before. When I looked. You can't really get to it. That's a shame. But yeah, that's over there. By the looks of things. I'm well speeding now, so I thought that might happen though, admittedly, so just put a little power on because I think yeah. Maybe we'll have a look on the way back, see if we can find it. But yeah, I think it's abandoned. They're gonna knock it down. I don't know when they're gonna knock it down, but that's what they want to do. Which is a shame. Because I think there was a museum in there, but I don't think they own the land. Kicked off the land, but they've not knocked the they've not knocked the building down yet that occupied the space. So not really fair on the museum, is it? But there you go. That's what these developers do. I think it's 9.5 mile an hour when a TPWS trips you. Good at that, people. Scary how close you can get to the buffer before you actually have to put any brakes. Right, so now we can shut that down, set the DRA, we can sort out our tail lights. That is technically the end of that service, but it's not quite the end, because now, turn the tail lights on, turn that off. Oh yeah, the GSMR automatically sorts itself out in this. You haven't got to sort it out manually like in the Cross City. You don't got to press anything, it just sets up when you key on. This is, look at this though, this was unnecessary, but this is lovely. I love it, it's brilliant. Oh, apparently I hadn't found that route map, which I'm quite surprised about, because I walked the whole of that corridor. You can just see it coming down, yeah, it's so cool, like little, you can imagine all the little shops in there and stuff. Oh hello. Oh, these are another collectible. Planters, little bee planters. Anyway, let's we're not here to look at bee planters, we're here to drive trains, so let's good move, thank you. Sort them out. Not that they really do much on this run for us. Do that. Right, okay. We can now set our daylights. You can see GSMR's already set, which is a bit of a shame because you don't get to press the button. And the buttons are always fun to press, aren't they? Right. Let's lock the doors. So yes, the answer to that, there are no tunnels on the route. Let's do that. Oh, we left the rear cab open, didn't we? Oh well. I guess we're only going up to Hatfield, then we can drive back, technically. We won't drive back in the video, of course, but that's what would happen, so it wouldn't matter too much. It's not raining today, so your cab's not going to get wet. Of course, we've not got to stop at, whatever the middle station was again. I keep forgetting. Dinton. I think it was Dinton. We've not got to stop at Dinton, because there's actually no platform on the back. There was definitely some kind of yard here where the car park is. See how wide the gantries are. Right, so we're somewhere roughly between the alignment of the track going the other way and the middle of the two tracks. So let's see if we swap over at any point. Or if we stay roughly where we are. Yeah, we're roughly in the alignment of the track going the other direction. When it was originally mainline, of course. Or open properly. So we're crossing over now. We're closer to the other side of the bridge now. Left that well too low. I forgot about that one. I forgot about the 25. I was just thinking about the 10 on right on the junction. We'll have a look for that shed in a sec. Once we're down to speed, just so we make sure we actually hit the speed. Right, quick nose. High up as we can. Where is it? It is there. Yep. Definitely represented. It doesn't look like a engine shed, admittedly. Does look more like a warehouse, as far as the asset's concerned. But nevertheless, they have actually stuck it in there, despite the fact you can't see it. That's great. Love it. Now, there we go. So yes, now we're back on the main Woodhead route. We're going down in the opposite direction line, in the alignment of that now. You can tell by where we are against the gantry and the track bed, of course. But yes, I think this track was pretty much gone before the closure of the Woodhead because of the fact of the derailment. So yes, I think for 20 quid, this route is actually really good. It's short, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I always go on with how I like to see routes with like some short services, some long services, and some sort of difference in the service. To be honest, this is pretty much end to end, do the same thing throughout. But it has its perk of it being a complete enclosed route that you can drive within 40 minutes, or just about 40 minutes, you know? There is, if you want to do something quick, then this is the route that you want to pick, sort of thing. So, we have a route that's long for the 323, so we're not missing out on the 323 experience. If you want a proper sort of intense, long-winded 323 service, go and play the Cross City. And then if you want something a little bit more laid back, you know, longer distance, a bit more running, under nothing, under no stops and all that, you know, come and use this. So I think, and if you've got the Birmingham Cross City, you get like £2 off anyway. It's not a lot, but it's all right. Like I say, I think you're actually looking at £20 for it. Oh, we're set to go back, are we? Well, we're not going to run the journey back. That was obviously a really quick turnaround here then. So yeah, honestly, I would certainly consider it. Consider going to buy it. I really would. Like I said, I don't know if I'd consider it, if I'd say more or less if you have the Cross City. Like I say, if you've got Cross City, then you get a bit of a discount with this. If you don't have Cross City, it's only £2 discount you're missing out on. So I wouldn't go and buy Cross City just to get the discount on this if you're not interested in Cross City, sort of thing. You literally stood right in my shot. You are literally the average person. They are literally average people. This is unsurprising behaviour. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Pretty much all I've got to say, yeah. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Let's go and have a quick look in the front coach. Plenty of seats, plenty of people waiting to go back to thingy. Oh look, the PIS is actually keeping up this time. This is Hadfield. Is it Hadfield? I think it's Hadfield. Hang on. Yeah, Hadfield. Cool. So yeah, PIS is actually keeping up in this train. Cross City still don't work properly. Anyway, like I say, I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!